The money speaks. We have 44% of the bets at
Money splits do not mean anything. Stop using this as a metric. Guys, proportion of where money is on retail books, DraftKings, FanDuel, BetMGM, Fanatics, you name it that you're betting there, it means nothing. Why? These are retail books. What does that mean? It means exclusively they service retail clientele, and specifically they kick out. It's a policy to kick out and limit all winning bettors. Don't believe me? Here is the Barstool Zone DraftKings. I wanted to bet on Purdue pre-tournament. They have limited me there. They will only let me bet $93 on that bet. On some bets, I can only get that $15. Their policy is if you win or if you have an edge against them, they kick you out. So why is this important? Well, ultimately, you're looking at splits of retail clientele. By definition, they're willing to let you on their app because you don't have an edge against them, period, point blank. Now, how do they know you don't have an edge against them? Well, one, you lose, but more importantly, two, you do not measure closing line value on the majority of your bets. In fact, you probably mostly see negative closing line value where the line consistently moves against you. Why is this important? Closing line value is the biggest telltale sign that the books have to calculate your theoretical loss to them. And that's what you are. You're a number. You're how much is this customer worth? The more you bet, they start throwing around, things like MVP or VIP and things like this. And they give you different limits. Sports betting is the only game in quote unquote Vegas or in gambling where the limits are different for different people. The better you are, the lower your limits on these apps. The worse you are, the higher your limits. So ultimately, using these splits don't mean anything. Retail books copy the line from market-making books who undergo a market-making process. It's very important that you realize and understand you're betting into a market. You don't look at the splits of the NASDAQ to see where the public is on a stock. You shouldn't do this on a bet. This is undergoing a market. The closer you get to closing line, the more efficient that market is, aka the harder it is to beat because there is, in theory, no margin left. All of the betting has happened and moved it to the most efficient number. And so when you look at splits, all it is an artifact of retail books copying from market makers. That's why they move it, because when the market maker moves it, they move it. So there is no reverse line movement. These are not things that truly exist. And these are just an artifact of the public's betting patterns. Why are they okay with, lopsided handles? One, they're not in full control of this because they don't move the line off of action. They copy the line. So they can't necessarily move it 1 or 2 points off market because they know that the market, the sharp market, is more efficient. And so they can't handle or they can't move off of price action, or they don't move off price action is a better way of saying it. And two, they are exclusively servicing clients that they do a lot of work on to determine that they do not have an edge against them. So in theory, they are providing 50-50 chance tickets at minimum at 52.34 break even. That's a 2.4% margin for them on straight bets. And we know how much the public loves parlays. Those parlays have holds that are even higher than this, sometimes 15-20%, meaning they have a 20% edge against the client in those situations. So make sure when anybody's ever telling you about public public splits or handle splits, it is a meaningless stat. Do better.